Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Pip if you haven't been here before. I have two very big surprises for you, and the first one starts in this room, which is my office. It is I think it was a former kitchen because there is some sort of weird fireplace behind me, and in front of me behind you guys is a slight ocean view. But now we have moved the garage workbench in here yesterday, and I did that because my freeze dryer is coming and it arrived about 10 minutes ago. Surprise number two comes in the form of a ladybird. A little itty bitty ladybird. So this is Ladybird, aka Birdie or Little Bird, and we rescued her 3.5 days ago, and this little birdie is 13 months old. Oh, hi, darling. Hi. And the poor little bird, we are her 6th home. And I don't understand why, because she is so lovely. We love you. Are you guys ready for how big this first surprise is? She's here. And they delivered her from the toll depot in town to here for free. So in Australia, the Harvest Right freeze dryers just get dropped to your local regional area or a local depot in Sydney, and then you have to deal with it. They won't drop them to local residential areas. Anyway, so I had a bit of a chat to the lady who called me to say, your freeze dryer is in town, you can come and get it. And I was like, well, how big is it? Do I need to get my friend's husband to bring a trailer? Because, it's just me and I've got to recruit my friend's husband, and yeah, we've got to do this alone. And she goes, and I said, well, is there any possibility that I could arrange to pay for delivery to home? And she was like, well, I'll ask my manager and get back to you. So she calls me back and says, the manager said, no probs, we can just drop it at your house, no charge, we'll just wait for the rain to stop. Yeah, like that never happens. Anyway, so there was a slight break in the rain today, and here it is. I'm so impressed with their customer service and so happy that they brought me my freeze dryer. The big pro about this is that now my best friend's husband doesn't have to come and deal with this for me, but hopefully my best friend will pop round to help me get the freeze dryer in the office and on that table. The reason the freeze dryer is going here is primarily a functional issue. There's a PowerPoint down there, and that's really what it came down to. So there isn't a spare one in the garage. Obviously I needed somewhere where I could plug it in. This is also my only table that is hardy enough to sit the package, which said it was 250 pounds total on the website, but apparently according to the delivery people it's 85 kilos, which is probably about 170 pounds, which is a pretty big difference. And I already had this in my garage, and I really didn't want to buy anything else because, costs. Anywho, so the number of available plugs was the primary issue that needed to be overcome in this situation. The other reason why I thought I would put it in here is because in summer, this side of the house is significantly cooler than the other side of the house. And that is because you've got the coastal breeze coming straight in, and the other side you don't get as much breeze, and you kind of have to open the entire house for the breeze to get through. And even then, the other half of the house is noticeably warmer. So I thought, having looked at some online reviews, given that it looks like you need to get a little fan to put on the motor to stop it overheating if you're using it a lot, I thought that might be good here because I can just rip the windows open. And again, there's another PowerPoint, so I could plug that in. That is the unfortunate thing about where the pantry is situated in this house, is it's on the other side of the house. So it is going to be a battle to keep it cool. I have had the dehumidifier going like crazy because, as we always do in this channel, I let you know that we have had a lot of rain again. And unfortunately, when the dogs were chasing a fly that was just in here, I spotted some mold on one of the office tables. So the battle with the dampness in this house continues. The fight against La Nina continues, and I'm just going to go and clean up some mold now, and then I'm going to try and open that Harvest Right package and see if perhaps there are some smaller bits that I can bring in here myself before my best friend gets here. Can you hear that? This rain just keeps coming and out of nowhere this time. Although I can't complain, we were supposed to have 200 mils today. So the fact that we had bright blue skies a moment ago is amazing, and they delivered right on time. Ta-da! As a nice little added bonus, we've got some nice kindling here and a pallet which will make some nice kindling too. Don't want to waste anything. Look who fell asleep while I was unpacking the freeze dryer. He looks so teeny tiny. His little upside down love heart on his chest. Poor guy's got conjunctivitis. A little love. Okay, let's see what comes with the box. So we've got 5,700 cc oxygen absorbers. That's pretty awesome. I ordered some extra oil because I thought, you know, with postage from America costing a fortune and shipping issues, I thought it was better to be prepared. I didn't think I ordered 5, but okay. But I have since seen some videos about how you essentially filter the oil that comes out and then you can reuse it. So that's unfortunate, but you know, better to be prepared than not. And then we've got 50 pack of Mylar bag. What is this one? Oh. Impulse sealer. That must be like a sealer for the Mylar. That's kind of cool. That might be very helpful given my issues with Mylar bag sealing. See, I didn't actually know any of this stuff came with it. So we've got the oil filter. That's amazing that you can reuse it. So amazing. What else have we got? Oh my God, that's really heavy. Freeze dryer trays. Oh, I ordered spares of these. They're a lot smaller than I thought they would be. Fits a large freeze dryer. Well, that's, oh my God. They're a lot smaller. No wonder you hear people with medium ones say that they wish they bought a larger one, because these are a lot smaller than I thought they would be. More trays. They're the ones that come with. So I won't set it up on my own. A pump and the vacuum pump. And then obviously underneath is the freeze dryer. And here is my little tiny assistant. She's so skinny. My poor baby. We'll fatten you up, won't we, darling? Make you some yummy freeze-dried snacks. So I will go and put all of this stuff in the office, and then I will unbox this to get it ready for whenever Rachel's free to come and help me. We might even need Jono to help. But the poor little office is in chaos again because of the mold I found earlier, and everything's covered in vinegar and drying out. So a little more chaos than I anticipated, but I'm so excited. The other reason why I thought this area would be great for the freeze dryer is because if there's any spillage, it's on tiles, so it's less of a drama. Now I have to get everything back and organized. Well, it's not quite dry, but soon. Bloody mold. Oh my God, guys, nobody scare them. They're sleeping together. Hi, Birdie. It's a good girl. He loves you. I'm pretty excited to read this. I don't know about you guys, but I like to use everything that I can. Look out, Raffy. You're going to end up in the box, mate. You're going to end up in the box. So what I'm going to do, Raffy, is normally I would let him kill my boxes, which is why he's excited. Then I would usually either recycle it once he's done with it or use it in the compost. Hi, Birdie Beetle. Or I just chuck it straight in the recycling. But on this occasion, what I'm going to do is flat pack it and put it over with my other moving boxes. I kept the outside one because I thought that might be Raffy. I thought it might be good for potentially down the track using to stop weeds. Oh, we have to wrestle the box away from the puppies. But so this one I will keep for like when I eventually move out of this house, although I've kind of verbally agreed to a 1-year extension, which now the mold is back, I am wondering if I made the right choice. So obviously I'm going to have to transport these some way, somehow in the future. But I thought also with the big piece of cardboard, that would be great to, like, when I eventually find a place I want to buy, to put down on the ground as like a weed mat. And because it's such a big, thick piece of cardboard, you're never going to find that easily. So I thought I'd just hang on to that and can just join the gigantic pile of cardboard. Okay, so it's out of the packaging in the box, and everything in there looks a bit skew-iff, so I hope that's not an issue. Let's try opening. Oh my god, that takes quite a bit of effort. Oh, well, that's something. Okay, well, looks like it needs a good clean off before we actually get this going, but first I've got to move it. Don't know how. I always wonder why hefty things of this kind of size that are valuable don't have some kind of like handhold area so you can actually move it without dying in the process. Because, you know, I guess that's the goal. So I just got home and it was the puppy's first time home alone. And you did so good, didn't you, Ladybird? You did so good. Now, I thought my first freeze drying would be something, you know, awesome. But it's something for them, which she can smell. I was down at the shops and they had lamb liver on sale. And it was like 6 times cheaper than normal. So I got like 23. So I'm going to process them tonight because their use by date is tomorrow, and I'm gonna hopefully fit them all in the freezer, and if they all fit in the freezer in a space, I'm going back for more. But seriously, look at how cheap these are. They smell good. So I'm not going to show you guys processing them, but I'm going to get them ready for the freeze dryer, and then hopefully there's enough space in the freezer, because this is just one bag and there's about 17 in here. You might be wondering why I bought so many of these. Well, this is $7.50 a kilo, and at this discounted price it's $1.50 a kilo. This is an insane discount, and I've never seen anything like this. And if you even just turn these into dog treats, it's going to be substantially cheaper than buying the dehydrated liver snaps for training. But if you raw feed your dogs like I do, or I predominantly do, Ladybird is eating some kibble because she came from the shelter eating kibble. But liver is an essential part of raw feeding. You have to include liver plus one other secreting organ like kidneys. So this is a bargain buy, and hopefully will last me a while with 2 doggies. Ladybird, what are you doing in there, darling? Did you hop out through the boot and get stuck? Do you want to come out? Come on, my girl. How did you get stuck in there? How did you lost your boyfriend? Oh, he's coming with you. Never to be separated again, hey? Oh, okay, this is going pear-shaped. Guys, oh, where you going? Oh, where you going? Come on, out you come. Ruby, you can't drive, mate. You're too little. You haven't got your license yet. Come on, puppies, out you come. Come on. Yes, Ruffy Stubby. Yes, Ladybird. Oh, look out. Was that a bit of fun, was it? Was that a bit of fun? Oh, you're going to do it again. Oh, no. Oh, she is going to do it again. Oh, and he's doing it again. You two crazy cats, come on. I also got turkey necks, which is the first time I have ever seen. Oh, sugar. It's the first time I have ever seen them, so we got up a few. That might be why they're going a bit crazy. Hey, my little scallywags. Look at you guys kissing like bestest friends, hey? You see your bestest friend? Is this the best birthday present ever? I count 24 livers, but there's more space, and I've got room in the freezer, which is actually a bit of a surprise. So I'm going to go back and get some more. I just picked up the last of the liver. I don't feel bad about it because it expires tomorrow, so it'll get chucked out tonight if it's not bought. And it's another 20 livers, so I've now got about 40 something livers. I also picked up one more pack of bones, which had 3 bones in it, because I'm making a bone broth, and I have a couple more bones in the freezer, but not enough. Hit the camera with the door. But that was like nearly $7 for the bones, and the livers are all like $1 or less. So, I mean, that's just such a crazy deal. And part of the other reason why I don't feel bad about wiping them out of all the livers is I have never seen that many livers there. They usually have like 4, and they had 40 something that were going to get chucked out if nobody bought them. And think of those poor little lammies who made the sacrifice, and then it gets chucked out. So for once I had the freezer space, and with the freeze dryer now in my house, even if it's not set up, we can do this. We can make this work. And he gave me 1 liver for free, so that is excellent. And I am heading home now because they're about to shut up shop, and I don't know how the dogs will go, having been all hyped up, having fun, and then me departing again, but I guess we'll find out. I guess you've got to just take the savings where you can get them and be grateful for them, and I'm so grateful for them. And I'm so grateful to have the freeze dryer to be able to process these and hold on to them and not have them just taking up a huge amount of freezer space. But I'm pretty tired, but it's now 10:30 and I am going to get these livers processed. So my kitchen's about to look like a crime scene. So, well. The bone broth actually also finished while we were buying 6,000 livers. But usually I give them a bit more than 24 hours to really work through things. And I will generally do more than 1 batch from each bone. Oops, I just flicked that everywhere. From each group of bones. I might give this actually another little while, because to be honest, I don't want to deal with the broth tonight. So I might give it another 12 hours and it'll be done in the morning. And then I will start the next batch. And then hopefully this can go like jelly in the fridge, and hopefully the freeze dryer gets set up in the next couple of days. And this will be, after the liver, pretty high up on the list of things to get freeze dried. This is for the dogs. So this is just obviously bones. And this is the leftover water we saved from doing the blanching of the silver beets or the Swiss chard. So the water was pink before. This is homegrown celery and some carrots, and we used the Swiss chard dehydrated greens and some flat leaf parsley. And I think that's all it's got in it, because you don't want to put any onions in a broth for dogs. And while dogs can eat garlic, they're not supposed to eat large amounts of it, so I didn't put any in the broth. So let's put this on for another 12 hours. This is, oh my God, 12 and a bit livers. And it is just after midnight, and I think I'm probably done for the day, so I might wrap that one up and deal with them tomorrow. And this poor little darling has been waiting for me to come to bed. And she's been checking in on me periodically. I'm coming to get a little snicker snack. Midnight snack of liver, haven't you, darling? Because Ladybird likes to sleep on my shoulder. It's very cute. She's a very cuddly dog. Come on, baby girl, we'll go to bed now. I just did the maths to the best of my ability, given that I didn't actually print off receipts for the livers that I got last night, but I did cut out the tags on the packet, which didn't have the discounted price on them, but the highest priced one was about $1.20. It was actually less than that, but so if we said on average they were $1.10 each, even though the lowest one was about 80 cents, I ended up with 27.68 kilos of liver, and for pounds, just times that by 2. For a normal price would be $214.76. And I got one for free, and I had 38 livers. So if you did 37 times $1.10 on average, then it was $40.70. So for $40, which is more than 80% saving, I ended up with, and I did the maths on if I fed both of them a full raw dinner and breakfast, like full raw meal for the day on a puppy scale, seeing they're both going to be on a puppy scale for another 6 months, and then they'll get a little bit less liver every day. That amount of liver is just shy of a full year's worth for both of them. So once they come off the puppy guidelines, it will be a full year's worth for both of them, which is so amazing that cost me $40. That's like, I'm so surprised and so stoked. And I mean, it's been about 4 hours total of prepping that liver for freeze drying, and then I've still got to set up the freeze dryer. But I mean, I'm not gonna have to cut up liver for a year. Like, that's amazing. I'm so excited. This sort of stuff never happens. We never get sick sales on things like that. It just doesn't happen. We don't have a very large supermarket, and there's just never stock of anything. So this is amazing. It's good. What a joy. Being able to have veggie stock paste powdered or bone broth powdered is the top of my list of priorities for the freeze dryer. I want to be able to have those on standby. They take up so much room in the freezer or the fridge, and it would just be really lovely to be able to have this bone broth available for either my cooking or for the dogs. Broths made without things like onions and garlic and leeks are actually really great toppers for dogs that are kibble fed as well. It just adds so much nutrients to their food, and it provides a little bit of hydration. Kibble can be extremely dry and lead to dogs being dehydrated, which is why they tend to drink a lot more if they're kibble fed rather than raw fed. But it also is great joint support. I remember when I first discovered that Rafa had hip dysplasia. He had been to the beach and he was about 6 months old, and he pulled up lame, and he was lame for a few days, which for a little puppy is quite abnormal. And I made him bone broth before he'd had any of his x-rays or anything, and he healed up quite quickly with that. And so I'm a firm believer in him having these sorts of things to help minimize the inflammation in his body and help long term with his hip health and his overall digestive health. That didn't sound good. It's a tricky one because I want them to play, I want them to have fun with each other. That's the whole point. But I don't want it to get out of hand and get to the point where somebody gets hurt or this becomes like a behavioral pattern. And you can hear them again. The trouble is Rafa loves to be chased, but then he slips on the flooring like he just did then, and it just for his hips. So anyway, while I'm supervising them and while the bones that we just took out of the broth are cooling down, I'm going to put the other bones that had to defrost because of the 1 million livers into the roaster, and we're going to get those roasting for an hour and get the next batch of broth going. Birdie pulls so hard on the lead, you can probably hear her, but doesn't matter. The fact that we can walk this golf course is really amazing because we're not seeing as many dogs. So it's giving her a chance to kind of smell the roses, so to speak. Sugar or a dead magpie. Come on. Come on. Get away from the dead bird. I cannot believe I just said it gives her a chance to smell the roses when we were standing right on top of a dead bird. Oh, it's that kind of day. How amazing is this? So we've got puppies, an amazing golf course, and in the distance, the ocean. Before we completely run out of daylight hours, we've got to go outside and sugar. The bottle just opened, but spray some cheeky aphids in the face with some hot soapy water because they're back. And if you guys have been watching this channel, you know they never really left. So my primary methods of getting rid of them have been to squish them, which is very effective, or to spray them with the soapy water. So the soapy water kind of destroys the cell membrane, especially if you can smother them with it, and it kills them pretty effectively. But I've been doing a little bit of research on why they are plaguing me and if it's like a coastal issue, because I've never had this problem before. And apparently it is more of a plant is stressed. So if the conditions are non-ideal, which, you know, La Nina's been pretty non-ideal, and having 80 mils of rain in a 6-hour period on the regular is not ideal for plants' health. And you know, I've been doing some research on like what I can plant as companion planting to dissuade aphids from making our home their home. And the top suggestion for plants to plant to get rid of aphids was garlic. And I was like, the aphids are worst on my garlic. I can't get rid of them off my garlic. They have killed my garlic. So I think it's just going to be regular management and dealing with them on the regular, because what I discovered this afternoon is apparently they can do some form of asexual reproduction. So apparently the female aphids are born pregnant. That's why you can't get rid of them, because they're continuously reproducing and they're born pregnant. So gross. Anyway, let's go spray some aphids in the face. They've been on the kale. Kale seems to be a real weak point, whether it's ornamental or regular. So let's go spray some aphids. And the reason I'm having trouble with this bottle is because I may not have waited long enough for the water to cool down, and it's, oop, you can see it's kind of warped the bottle and the lid just does not want to stay on. But I guess it'll kill the aphids. Make sure the job's done properly, I guess. So if you look at my garlic, I actually came out and squished them all by hand the other day, and it looks like there's like a million more already. I know it's hard to see with the GoPro, but they're back. I sprayed the garlic, but the kale was way too far gone. It was looking pretty good last week, but between the rain, the aphids, and the slugs, it just wasn't worth trying to save it. So Birdie and I went in to try and have a little nap. I was just wanting to get off my feet, but little Birds needs help settling, and she's just so cute and so snuggly. The next day was super, super windy, so we didn't do much other than play with the puppies and do some training and try and get them acclimatized to each other until Rachel came over and we managed to wrestle the freeze dryer into its new position, and hopefully this is the first step forward. Rachel and I managed to carry the freeze dryer from the garage into the office. We managed to get it. Now, the hardest part was to get it up onto this table, because we just managed to get there, and then to have that little extra oomph when neither of us are like all that tall, to get it up onto that table was quite difficult. Unfortunately, the freeze dryer would only fit in this direction. If we turned it, it would topple, but this is the only table I have that is solid enough to hold such a big machine. So I'm going to have the drain coming out the back, 2 crazy puppies inside, and it's just going to have to sit on the table like this, and that's going to have to work. And these two are about to get into a little scrap again, I think, because we've all just woken up from a nap. So I let this sit for a couple of hours after we move it. It's been sitting in the garage for days. I've taken the sealer off and given that a wash because it was really dusty, and there were some scratches on the inside, which hopefully is fine, because this thing was not on its side, but certainly not straight. So that had obviously scratched it. And now that it's had a few extra hours to sit after we moved it, I'm going to take it through the setup procedure and hopefully start freeze drying, because my fridge is full of bone broths and veggie broths. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and obviously there'll be a lot more freeze dryer content in the future. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you in the next one. That's better.